Just three, actually. There is a separate House Republican, Congressional Republican proposal that would override legislation allowing non-citizens to vote in Washington, D.C. elections. If that passes the Congress, would the president sign it?
I can say that the president does not support that.
The reversal here comes in the wake of a handful of senators facing re-election in 2024 saying that they were seriously considering supporting this legislation or had planned to vote for it. Joe Manchin, John Tester, Bob Casey, Angus King. Some might look at this and say the president is choosing to give political air cover to vulnerable Democrats in 2024 and make a point on criminal justice issues that he has had an opinion on since the 2020 election, when there was a disagreement in the Democratic Party about whether or not to support defunding the police or whether to be tougher on crime and continue to support police agencies. So is the president playing 2024 politics with this local Washington, D.C. issue at the expense of his longstanding, decades-long support of
So
D.C. State?
what I'll say here is not going to get into 2024 analysis or political punditry from here. We are covered, I am covered, we are covered by the Hatch Act, as you know, and so I'm certainly not going to get into analysis from here. I will always be very clear about what the president believes. The president believes in making sure he continues to deliver for the American people. That is what he wakes up thinking about every day, and you see that in his historic pieces of policies and laws that are now in effect, and it's going to continue. That's our focus at this time.
To this, a few weeks ago we talked about whether or not the White House would ever swap the D.C. license plates.
Oh, yeah,
and you said you'd get back to us on that.
I still have not gotten back to you. I will work on that. I think we actually were trying to dig in and get some information. We just haven't popped any information at this time.
And as he left the meeting, he said about Ohio. He was asked about East Palestine and supporting legislation that's in the works. He said, "I will be there soon." Is there a plan for him to go?
I don't have any trips to preview for you at this time. The president also, if I'm remembering correctly, moments ago, he also talked about how essentially this has been a priority. He's talked to governors, the governor of Pennsylvania, governor of Ohio, the senators at multiple times throughout these past couple of weeks. As you know, when the derailment happened on February 3rd, hours later, within hours, we had folks on the ground from the EPA making sure that we were dealing with this chemical spill and making sure, and since then, we have had a multi-agency reaction to this, an operation on the ground, making sure that the community in East Palestine was getting what they needed to get back on their feet and to make them whole. And we're going to, you've heard this from Secretary Buttigieg, you've heard this from Administrator Regan, we're going to make sure that we hold Norfolk Suffolk accountable and make sure that they clean up their mess.